Okay, so welcome to your first Google Sheets tutorial for the data management class. You're going to open up a Google Sheets and you're going to title it Simulations. And you're going to title sheet number 1. So if you double click on that, you're going to title that Tossing a Coin. So this is going to be a simulation for tossing a coin. We need to label the columns. We're going to label the first one Trial. And we're going to label the second column Result. So instead of flipping a coin 100 times, we're going to have the Google spreadsheet do it for us. You can make those bold and fancy if you want. You can even put them in the center of the column if you think that'll look nicer. And then we want to run 100 trials. So if instead of typing in 1 to 100, I just need to do 1 and a 2. I need to highlight both, so click and drag. Make sure they're both highlighted, and then this little blue box where you get the crosshairs that pop up, you want to click on that, hold it down, and drag it all the way until you get to 101. Because we want 100 trials, and we have a title on the column. So there we go. We have a sequence of from 1 to 100. It's really key that you type in the 1 and the 2 and highlight both. If you just highlight the 1 and drag down, it just gives you a series of 1s. So you got to highlight the 1 and the 2 so the computer knows that you want it to go increase by 1. And then the result. We need to tell the spreadsheet to flip a coin for us. So we're going to use a formula. You're going to type in equals, choose, bracket, rand, between, bracket, 1, comma, 2. So that's going to make the spreadsheet randomly pick numbers between 1 and 2. And then we're going to specify that if a 1 gets selected, we're going to call that a heads. And if a 2 gets selected, it's going to be like flipping a tails. Put a bracket on it. Make sure you have the right number of brackets in the correct spots. Hit enter. And we get a tails. Now what's nice is, at least on my copy of Google Sheets, it suggests an autofill. So for those 100 trials that we want, it'll fill that formula all the way down. So if I press Control Enter, it does that for me. Notice it doesn't say tails every time because it makes the formula repeat itself and randomly pick heads or tails. If you don't have that option, then once you type in the formula, you can just use the crosshairs, use that little blue box, and drag down your formula until you get to 100. So there you go. We have 100 trials of flipping a coin. You can see it's got a mixture of heads and tails like we would want, or we might expect. And now we want to count to see how many times a head was flipped and how many times a tail was flipped. So in any cell you want, we're going to type in another formula. So equals, we want to count, so the formula is going to be a count if formula. Then bracket, and we're going to count from cell B2 all the way to cell B101. And we want to count how many times heads came up. Using the quotation marks is important. Put an ending bracket on it. Hit enter. You can see it already actually is telling you how many heads there are. And we get 48. It said 49. It must have ran all the results again, so that's why it says 48. It'll keep running those random results. If I refresh my screen, it runs it again, and this time I get 52. And that's because it just keeps running those formulas, and then we randomly get a mixture of heads and tails. So we can see we have 52 heads. We might want, and then it just ran again for some reason, so now we got 44. So we are going to, we probably should label this column. So we'll type in number of heads, so it's clear what that 44 means. Sorry, and then it ran again. Now it's 47. So don't be alarmed if you click something or hit enter and the number changes. It just keeps rerunning the experiment. So at this point we have 47 heads. And then what I want you to do is I want you to make a note. So if you click on that cell, and if you go to Insert, and there should be, under Comment, click on Note, and then I want you to just type in the probability. Oops. Sometimes if you click in the wrong spot, you get things that you don't want to happen. So just don't forget to undo using the Undo button, or using Control Z. Get back to where you were. There we go. And now I'm at 49 because it just reran the experiment again. I'm going to add to my note here, and I want you to type in whatever the probability of flipping a heads would be based on your experiment. So the probability of flipping a heads is, and you can give it to me as a percentage, right? That would be great. How many out of 100, what that percentage is. And then I also want you to type in I expected these results, or I did not expect these results, because, did you get results that you would have expected? So either I expected or I did not expect, your choice, depending on what results you get, and give me a reason why you expected that percentage. So there you go. That's how you run a simulation on how to flip a coin 100 times.